Welcome back to Go Condition 1. On this channel, we were preparing for the time when we will go Condition 1. To go Condition 1 is to be ready for the trials and tribulations that will inevitably come our way. To go Condition 1 is to be prepared to handle life's catastrophes, to be a beacon of strength and steadfast calm in a sea of chaos, to be capable of controlled, violent aggression in the moment of action, to understand the importance of having that ability for violence and yet the ability to control it. For it is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. In the last episode of Go Condition 1, we discussed the concept of the OODA Loop and applying it to our lives, starting with the first step of observation. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it now. As a brief recap, the OODA Loop is a continuous cycle of observation, evaluation, and improvement that can be applied to large or small situation in one's life. It provides a structured process to quickly assess any situation. For observe, you use your five senses to take in the situation and information from your immediate surroundings in order to establish where you are and create an accurate baseline. With orient, you are interpreting the observations that you just gathered and then base them on the experience and the context. With decide, you will choose a course of action based on your observations and your orientation. Next, with act, you will execute said course of action, and then followed by the loop. And the loop is to loop back in a continued cycle to repeat the aforementioned steps for evaluation and to observe progress. So this is a continuous cycle to be executed as required. By cycling through these steps rapidly, you can respond to dynamic threats faster and make more informed decisions. Each step must be executed in a truthful manner in order to proceed to the next step. This process will break down and not produce an optimal outcome if we do not execute each step in a hyper-truthful manner. The OODA Loop cycle is scalable and can be fit into almost every situation, whether you're looking to cut costs and save money, take the first steps in improving your health, or a major redirection with a career change. As an example for personal use, for your observation, you're going to notice job market trends as well as your personal strengths, whether that was knowledge gained from school, discipline from military service, or tangible assets you have on hand. Followed by orient, you're going to reflect on how these align with your goals and how they can be stepping stones to make positive progress. As in, if you have a basic understanding of a computer language, you can therefore begin to build a career in the tech industry. Followed by decide. Then you're going to choose to enroll in a coding boot camp, or pursue an education in the trades, or select a university to attend, or complete other professional certificates to advance your career. Next, with act, you're going to actually start the course and then network with local professionals. And then finally, with looping back to observe progress and make needed adjustments. Each one of the steps and the loop is a continuous cycle that is repeated as often as necessary. But in today's video, we're going to be covering the second phase of the OODA Loop, orient. Orientation builds on the raw data from the first observation phase, transforming it into actionable understanding. Executing the orient phase correctly and building a clear mental model will have a direct positive impact that informs your choice of action in the next phase the decide phase. Take the observations you have made, the raw data you have collected from the first step of observe, and use what you have gathered to turn, point yourself, and aim in the direction that leads towards beneficial end goals that you are aiming for. You have crossover between observe and orient, in that you will need to take the baseline you established and what you observed and use that information to properly orient or aim yourself towards the goals that you have decided to focus on. Just as a rifle utilizes the rear sights to align with the front sight post in order to create a proper sight alignment that then allows for proper sight picture, which in turn gives us the opportunity to strike the target. We must use our observation data to adjust and orient ourselves properly in order to aim our work effort towards our intended end goal. Here are some key steps for practical orientation. Synthesize your observations. Gather, organize, and combine the raw data from the previous observation phase in order to identify patterns and opportunities that best fit you, your personalities, and your skills. Where are you and where do you want to go? Is your end goal that you are aiming for factually obtainable? Is your end goal that you are aiming for factually beneficial? You're going to need to apply personal experience and skills. Use your past experience and skills to interpret data and assess both your end goal feasibility and the feasibility of the path required to said end goal. What strengths, skills, experience, and assets do you have at your disposal? How can each strength, skill, or asset directly support your effort in accomplishing your goal? Does this align with your values and goals? Filter your raw data and observations through your core values and long-term objectives. This also requires that we have established a moral and value baseline as a starting point. This foundation will provide a solid foundation that we can build upon. Also, what is most important to you? Is it financial stability, a stable home for starting and raising a family, building a high-speed career, or purchasing land? What do you believe will be most important to you in the future at the location of your end goal? What do you believe will be most important to you during your journey towards your end goal? You will need to consider external context. Account for external factors such as location, market conditions, or social support that will shape your situation and decision. Conduct a high-level cost-benefit analysis of the assets, skills, and experience you have on hand and how utilizing these assets will cost you. Conduct a high-level cost-benefit analysis of your next step. How much time, effort, and or money will be required to reach your goal. You will need to ask yourself, am I willing to sacrifice X amount of time, X amount of effort, and or X amount of money in order to take the next step towards your goal? You're going to need to train your orientation skill. This can be done through practicing critical thinking, regularly reflecting on decisions to sharpen your ability to interpret data, whether keeping weekly journal entries or capturing notes in a calendar. You will definitely need to learn from past mistakes and past experiences, and it would be beneficial to utilize past experiences and past mistakes from others that have been there before you so you don't make the same mistakes. You will need to simulate decisions. Use what-if scenarios to practice under pressure. Stay open to feedback. Regularly check in with mentors or respected peers to challenge assumptions and refine your perspective. Challenges in practical orientation could be some of the following. Overthinking. Spending too much time analyzing will delay action. Embrace the 70% solution by acting on a solid but imperfect understanding. As the saying goes, a 70% solution executed now is more effective than a 100% solution delayed. You're going to need to challenge your bias or personal fears can skew orientation. Counter this by seeking objective data. You may have information overload or, quote, paralysis by analysis. Too many options can be overwhelming. Prioritize data that aligns with your goals along with the assets you have at your disposal. Again, that 70% solution mindset. There will also be dynamic circumstances, life changes, market changes. These will require constant reorientation. And this is the same, just as in kinetic actions. Mentorship is a key resource that you will want to utilize throughout the OODA Loop process, as well as your career. Connect with local and regional industry leaders to pick their brains and learn from them. Reach out to men within your area that you desire to be, whether it is a business owner, a local master craftsman, or a tech lead on an IT project that you admire. Ask questions about what worked for them when they were at your level, but more importantly, ask them what did not work. Of course, always keep the conversation professional. I would highly recommend you do a little research to discover a handful of mid to upper level men in your local area that you could reach out to and request a 45-minute conversation. Inform them up front that you are looking for mentor level guidance and you would appreciate their time. Develop this relationship and utilize their experience as a sounding board to help you on your journey. It is good to learn what made these men successful, but it is crucial for you to learn from their mistakes and to discover what their biggest obstacles were and how they overcame them. Here are some key takeaways. Orientation will transform raw observations into a clear understanding by applying experience, values, and context. Practically, it helps prioritize life choices, whether it's your career or your health. And this is good for young men to build a foundation. Speed and adaptability ensure timely decisions without overanalysis. Regular practice of reflection and feedback strengthens orientation for ongoing personal growth. Once we properly gather our observation data and are able to conduct truthful analysis of where we are, the assets that are available, and the knowledge of where we want to go, then we can correctly orientate ourselves, aiming at our perceived end goal target. Join us next time as we continue this OODA Loop series. The next video will be focused on the decide factor. Men, you are not alone. Lean upon the teachings of Christ and orient yourself properly with an end goal that is worthy of your time and effort. A worthwhile goal that will benefit you and your family. There are countless practical applications that the OODA Loop will support in prioritizing and focusing on important life choices. The Lord blessed us with strong shoulders, so let us pick up our packs and press forward. Until next time, peace be upon you, and as we prepare to go condition one.